Hey everyone, how's it going? Uh, Yesterday did not end too well with how we were coding, but I think I figured out a few things. I spent a lot of time today troubleshooting all of the issues that we were facing. It turns out that the join field is only on payload 3 stable. I was using the beta version. So now that that's all figured out and some other of the errors were fixed, which would never happen if you were to just create a new payload project using the npx create payload app, all of that aside, we have a working project again. The only thing that I can't get working again, and luckily we can just use that as a new topic for the live stream, is the lexical editor. So my serialized lexical component just doesn't work anymore. So we'll take a look at that a little bit later, but now we actually get to finish our posts collection and really do what I wanted to do from the beginning. So let's go ahead and jump in and start with let's launch our PNPM dev. And so I just spoke a lot about how this works again, so I really hope that this works again. This is from earlier, so let's just go to localhost and we'll do admin, leave. But yeah, it's always a little frustrating when you get into a project and then like everything seems to be working and then it just stops working, which is what happened to me last night. So here we can log in with our dev at payload with our password. Okay. It's a 4-letter password. It's not a secret what it is. So what we ended up doing is I wanted to create a relationship in the posts that would allow me to filter out author users. So in order to get this working, to do all the troubleshooting, I ended up going back to an authors field here. But if we go over to our users, we'll see that we still have the role of author here. So I'm going to try this again, and we're going to use relationship. We'll set the name to authors still and do relation to users has many. And so we'll need to re-add in the filter options, which I don't actually, I just did it yesterday. I already don't remember, but I can look at my older project. Let's look at this one, do a new window, and we should have our filter options here, which we will do. Since we don't need, we can just do filter, and we should just be able to do data. And then we're going to we'll return an object, which is going to be content.authors dot I guess we'll do email. And then this should contain the data dot email. There. So now if I save that, come back here to our posts. So we can see our authors, untitled ID because it's different. So I see my blog. Oh, right. So I'm not looking for email. I'm looking for role. And we're going to have that contain author. Which means I don't need data. And so worst case, I'm just going to go back and look at what I had yesterday. Because what I think is actually happening here is I need to delete that. Delete, save. Okay. So we're getting an error, which means that just something isn't working right. And so I see an error here. The following path cannot be queried, which is content author's role, because that doesn't exist. So author's role should exist. Exists elsewhere, but it should just be role. And then if I refresh, there we go. So yay, we have our relationship to authors, or our relationship to users with the name author. And if I select that, we see that the only thing here is that it has, this is the only role with author. So that works exactly like I wanted it to. So the next part that I wanted to do was to use the join field to be able to see how many posts or what post that this user has done. So now we can do, is this in fields? It is. All right. So we'll do name, we'll do posts by user, and then we can do type of join. We can do on posts. No, sorry, on users collection posts. So now let's see what happens. Fields cannot be used with polymorphic relationships. Which means that something is misconfigured. But so if I do, I think it's on, I think I need to do content.authors. Yes. So what this is saying is that, so I named this posts by user. This is a join field, and that it is doing the joining on our authors field under the content tab. And then it's adding the posts collection for everybody within that meets this criteria here. And so I should be able to go to my blog here, and yes, there it is down there at the bottom. You see it, the join field is working. Love to see it. So now we can add that hook that I was trying to use, which might be in an author field now. So if I go here to authors, we're going to take this hook and we're going to paste it back over into users. And so what this hook is doing, whoops, the hook needs to go outside of the fields. Now, before the document is read, we're going to analyze the document, and then we're going to query our posts collection where content authors, which is now going to be users dot email equals doc dot email, because I don't have a slug field here, which I'm going to add actually, because I think that'll be better. If there's a result, return the document and change post count to the count, which is what we're doing here, of total docs. Otherwise, return 0. And so now, ideally, I save this, fingers crossed, and we should get not logged out. That's not what I was expecting, but we're going to hope for the best here. All right, so something is wrong here. So where... Okay, so that's not working like I wanted to, which is not the end of the world. We're going to figure it out here in a second. I'm going to add first name, and we're going to add slug here. We'll do type of text, and we won't make it required, but actually we're going to change this. I have a format slug option, and then we'll do name. So the slug will be populated from the name. All right, so get rid of all that. Come over here, go a bit forward in, go to users, go here. So we have a slug. If I say, well, if I save, the slug will be populated when I refresh. Yep, there it is. All right, so we have that field now, and we're going to try this hook again. So this should log the document. So we'll have to figure out what it logs. Let's get it logged there. All right, so now we're querying the collection posts for content.authors.slug is equal to our doc slug. So now, or I guess maybe contains our doc slug. Now if I refresh, hopefully it doesn't log me out. It logged me out. So what do we have? We see, I'm probably gonna have to hide the salt and hat. It's a test database, whatever. All right, so we see that we have our name, our role, our email. We don't see a slug here. So that must mean first we should generate types. Because slug is new. Let's do pm dev. Try logging in again. Hope for the best. And I believe we get the worst. We're able to see the slug now, so that's promising. Role author. Let's refresh, see what happens. All right, so we're not getting anything there. That's a problem. So if we come over here to authors, we're looking for content authors slug. And that's what we're doing here with collection posts. Content authors slug contains doc slug. I wonder, so if let's remove this hook real quick. Let me log back in. I hope. All right, so let's just try restarting here. There it is. All right, so now if we go over to our users, we do still see our posts by user. Oh, I wonder, because I should have a post count number, which I did not include back here in the users. So we're going to do that under here. And then all of this should be good. We don't need to log this again. Very interesting. So I don't know if I need this if statement. Just let it return. Oh, I remember what I was doing. So let's get rid of this hook, let it log me back in, and then look at the API real quick. Oh, sorry, I need to go here and make sure that I can save that. And so let's go over users to this. That's not what I'm looking for. We can go to posts. This is the blog I'm looking at. And we go to our API, and then I can go to my admin user, and I do see slug there. So post by user, cool. So I'd then be able to query that, which is great. I would love to be able to do that. eventually once we can get to that place. But now the slug should be registered if it wasn't before, and now if I run this hook, I don't know why this just logs me out. Okay. It's very weird that it does that. So, what if we change this to before validate? Nope. For read before change. Do I get doc? I don't. Before. So I only get doc in before read. Maybe after read will work as well. Maybe it'll at least let me log in. Nope. So I wonder if it makes it hard to use the field that you're using as an authentication field to use your before read. But we did do this before, so let's look at our local history for this users. We go here. So this hook was working before. So this was it yesterday. This is the current, this is yesterday. Let's take a look at how that API, well, content. Yeah, so I'm not thinking that this is going to work like I want it to. Because we go over to our posts and we have our authors under our content. So our content authors. Don't think that's gonna matter either. Oh. I don't know if it'll actually, it loaded, but will it include the field? Because maybe I was just adding a little bit too much depth. It did. So it says I have 3 of a post count, which is probably true. So if I go to users, go here, not users, I want to go to posts. Let's extend the screen a little bit. And then we open these 2 test posts. And I see an old value, but let's save that. And let's actually remove and save. And then come here and add and see if we get 2. If we get 2, then everything worked just great. I see still 3. This is gonna log me out, I know it. Yep. Maybe equals is what I need, because that's the only other difference, I think. Seems to be what I needed. That's exactly it. So I do see all of them here. I have post count, and so that's our join field and our hook that we're using to see how many posts that this author has posted. Now, why would we do that? Well, if we go over to our collections and say, well, let's add another user. We'll just use the same user. I can't duplicate users, so we're going to create new user and just do then set a password. Then set my name as test2 with author, and I can't do anything here, but if I save, I now have a second test2, and if I go over to our posts, we can see in our, let's go to one of our article drop downs that doesn't have an author. I can see both of my tests here, and they're sorted how I would want them to be sorted, in that I believe it's by early created date, but I could come over here to my posts and then do sort options is what I'm looking for. So if I can do, I think it's under admin actually, sort options. And now I need to remember how to do this, but that's what documentation is for. PayloadCMS sort options. So if we look at our sort options, we can scroll down. Sort option, oh, it's right there. So we can sort. So I want it to sort by the post count. So the person who posts the most should be at the top. And so right now it is set that way. And that means to show the difference, I'm going to set that I want it to be post count. And this shouldn't change anything. It may log me out if it's wrong. But now I can see that test2, because this is by ascending order, so it's starting at the lowest number and moving up. But I can then set it to be negative, which will set it back to the regular order as soon as it loads. It should have set it by the negative order. Yes, so maybe something's wrong with post count here. Let's take a look at our users. And I do see post count. Which means that since post count, I think, is undefined here, it's just showing me. So that means let's go over here to users and we'll set a default value just to see if this works. Set it to 0. Which should get overwritten. So now that we have negative post count, I think. Let's refresh and see what happens. Okay, so that's not working like I want it to. Let's go back over to users. And we can go to our test2. I see post count as 0. Well, let's take a look at the API. Leave anyway. Post count is 0, so that's right. And then we can come back over here to users, do this where we see post count as 2. If I look at the API, I see post count is 2. So if I go to posts though, we go back over here to test2, which will show me this, which has 0, and then this has 2. So, if I set this back to ascending order, that shouldn't change anything because it should be 0 to 2. But if I set it to descending order, it should change it from 2 to 0, but I don't see that happening. So let's just give this one its own. So now we have one with 1 and one with 2. So now if I duplicate this, make it test3, doesn't really matter, remove that, I see 2, 1, and then this is ascending order. So nothing's changing there. Let's take a look at my other project where I have done this before. Sort options less or minus date is sortable false. So that should just be working. Just in case, we're going to generate types. Just to make sure that it knows that it can sort on post count. Go back over to users, leave anyway. What did I break this time? Just got to refresh. Gotta love always hanging. I don't think I need to generate my import map, but I'm going to just in case. So I didn't. If I do local admin login. So maybe that sort option really messed stuff up here. Don't know why that would stop it from logging in. Let's see if we can at least get to my front end. And of course the front end is going to be a little jacked up right now because I have no rich text serializer. But we got our join field that's working. Post count, now that I'm thinking about it, is not really necessary because I can always figure out the count of how many posts by user. Plus sign, that's great. Cool. Maybe I should try an incognito menu. Oof, boy. This is not going great, is it? So we've done quite a bit, and I don't understand why now it is just not working. Because we don't have anything with authors. We can actually now just, we can try deleting this again, so let's do that. And then I know in our config we've got it. So all of that should be good. Authors. So we'll generate types here in a second to get rid of all of that. Okay. So authors should be gone now. There we go. Okay. Don't know if anything changed, but it's working now, and that's all that really matters. All right, so we've got our users. We have this. I can see that we have 2 posts assigned to this one, and then I've got 2 posts assigned to this one. So let's just try one more time to do our users. We can add post count back in, which I don't think we actually can because it's not there anymore, is it? I guess it is, but add the hook back in. We've got that. We can go to test 2. Let's delete this. So now we have 1 post. Then we've got you with 2 posts. Then we can go back over to our posts and sort our options by post count. Then if we go to posts, can go to create a new post. So yes, that would be the ascending option from 1 to 2. But we still don't get the descending option from 2 to 1. Oh well. So I have done this before. It's worked before. Oh, I'm not even doing this on the right thing. I have it on our... let's go up to pages. No, it's in collections. We'll go to messages, which we will then see in our sort options. Change. Speakers. Okay, so I don't even see sort options there for my speakers. So I wonder then, oh, so I think what it is that the option is actually on my, in this case, speakers collection, where I will default sort by, because I think it's taking the sort based on how it is put in here. So all of this work has led me here to this, which means I can do a sort. Oh, default sorts up there, which is doing by descending date. So if I want to be descending, not sort, post count, I refresh that. And now we have a descending post count. So now whoever posts more often will get put into the top position here. So to show that off, test. And then if we duplicate this, get rid of you. So it's even right now, so it's also going by date. And then let's add in this test copy. And now if I duplicate this again, fingers crossed, number 2 should be at the top as soon as it shows up. It is not. So if we go over to users real quick, leave anyway. So for that works, yes. And then, so that sort worked. Default columns. Okay, so that's the only place that I have a default sort, and it works elsewhere. But if we come back over to here to posts, we create a new post, it still does not work. And let's try it ascending just in case. Okay, so none of this works like I want it to. Only default sort post count. Is that the only sort option I have? Yes, it is. So then if I do users, we'll try it again real quick. Posts, go down to our authors and do sort options. And do, oh wait, it needs to be an admin. Do sort options post count. I don't actually know if that worked. I think it did. I don't know why this works in my other project, if that's the case. Oh well. Alright, so this isn't actually working. So the post count comes in handy for when go back over to users, we have our post count and it sorts, and so our number one back over here is test 2, which it continues to show up first. But now if we go to posts and we reassign these authors, set it to this one, and we'll do one more. Save, and then now if I duplicate this, can't duplicate it, but if I create a new one, I can now see the post count of the highest value here at the top. So really roundabout way to get this done, but it works and I like it. So that's it for the join field, our hook to include the post count in order to sort our authors field. So I feel good about that. Now let's make sure that we have all the fields we need for our blog post. So we know we need a name, we need a slug, we need access roles, which I can go over later. This is our users collection. Ha. So here in the posts, we have title and slug. We have our status of draft or published with the default of published, so it always gets published. Then we have the ability to feature the post. That sounds good. We need a date in order to schedule, and I have a display format for how I want that to be done. Then we have a link, which is this we went over, I believe, with the slug as well. Not with the slug, with the whatever we did yesterday, but we are a hook. So we used a hook to create this link, so I can just quickly copy and paste this instead of having to hunt it down. So that's cool with me. It's not required, and that's the hook that we were talking about. And then we have our tabs where we have our content, which is going to have a description, a summary, a rich text. So the summary is going to go on to either like the left or the right side as the block that we created. And the description is going to be used for the featured description and for anything like search, which we don't have yet. Then we have our author and our category, which we can use to then sort and group things together. If we would like to have a podcast audio, we can, or we can have a video included. And then we have a featured image, which we can use. And then we've got our SEO block here. And so here I wonder, if we go over to our SEO plugin, is there a way to get the featured image? Yeah, generate image. Perfect. So we can do that. What we can do, oh, this is the wrong project. Let's close that now because we've done everything we need there. So let's go down to our SEO block, because we should be able to, and by block I mean tab. Before we do that though, we have this lexical HTML field which takes the rich text content. So here we can see Our rich text is a lexical editor with all of these features. And with that, it will turn that rich text into a rich text HTML field. So I can use either HTML or I can use my the new rich text serializer that we're going to have to create. So all good stuff there. I would like to also be able to use plain text for things like schema markup that requires text, but maybe I don't want to include HTML, but we'll get to that later. So then we have these fields here, relation to media. So I would like to have this set to true, but I know, so this has generate function. If I set it to true, great, but it only does so much. So I need to go back to the configuration and have this to be generate image. I believe I can do generate image. And then I'm just going to copy. I don't think I actually need to do all of this, but I'm going to continue doing it. But doc. Oh, so no doc is created here. So let's just go to the SEO plugin and do this. Where are you? SEO plugin. I think I skipped it. Plugins, SEO plugin. We can just do this. And then if I save, oh, I want to generate description as well. Do I have that? I don't. So generate description. We can do the same thing. Perfect. So now if I come here, we'll see auto generate image. So let's test this out, shall we? So I'm liking this. It doesn't need to be a whole lot for what I'm doing on the front end. And really, I may make these text areas, honestly, just so that I have more room to work with them. So I'll come back and do that in a second. But I can choose from existing image. We'll use the same one that I've been doing. And then come over here to SEO. And then I can generate image. Oh, I need to, what did I name the image over here? Just image. So it should be. All right, and then the description is right, but let's go ahead and, since I'm over here, I'm in the config, so let's go over to posts and set our box relationship. Rich text. So our summary is going to be, let's do text area instead. Text area. So these should still return strings, I assume, but this is a test description. This is a test to see what data type I get. Perfect. And then I can choose from existing images, choose that thumbnail, and then I can come here and do auto generate meta image. Still didn't work. And then, oh, I need to also come here to the SEO, do, we'll check here in a second what we're doing. Has generate function true. This is a test. What data type is this? And we're going to save this first. I don't have to save it in order for this to work, but okay, so test 2 worked, and then meta image did not work, description did not work. Okay, so that tells me what we want to do. I've got an idea for canonical too. We'll see if it works. So here I have meta title, but I need description is going to be this feels wrong, but we're still going to try it. Should be content description. No, because that's what the actual paths are. So it should be in the configuration that I need to actually look at. Generate title, generate image. Can I do const generate description, generate description, do post page equals doc, okay, and return doc. Okay, so meta content dot description. There we go. So we can get our content description. So I guess I just don't have description set at the page level, which is totally fine. So if we do this with generate image now, generate image, we'll do post only for now. Doc, turn, doc, content, dot image. So I can't have it set as undefined, but I don't really know what image to set it as. So I don't think I can actually do this one. But if I come down here, which I don't actually even need to do, content.image, just do content.description here. So now if I auto-generate, as soon as it reloads, there we go. This is a test. Then I can auto-generate the image, which will then show up. If I go over to posts, nope, it needs relation to. So if I go to canonical though, if I can do, can I add a hook? I can add a hook. And then I can do, we'll do async. I don't know if I'll do async. So what we're gonna do is take the link field up here and just steal that hook. So we'll come down here to our hooks. If we take that before change hook, it should, yes. And oh, that's the preview. The canonical I'll be able to edit, but let's auto-generate a title and a description for now. Hit save. So the canonical does not get added though. But where is my link field? Okay. Okay, no biggie. I thought I would give it a shot, but maybe it just needs to be, should be before, after change maybe? Okay, well that worked. Oh wait, I think it still needs to be, sorry, before change. Excuse me. So we'll try again somewhere else. So if I do auto-generate image though, we're getting that it can't cast an object. So I wonder then, If we go back over to index, nope, payload, let's close this because I keep opening it. And I do .image. See what happens here. Not working like I want it to. So if we go back to the SEO plugin, any meta image, including the document's content. So let's do something here. Well, first let's save, then refresh. Okay, so the meta image did save. So I did that right. It just didn't save correctly here because I just saw it hang. So that works. And then for site name, we'll include, where's that, posts, a default value, and we'll set this to be, well, let's just do, so setting that default name, I see it there. I don't need to save because that's default now. If I go to posts, I'll go to test blog, which doesn't have, it does have the SEO. Maybe because I added it. But for the canonical, that's what I want to check. This article is about birds, kinda. It's not really. But then canonical, did that save and just not refresh? I'm not looking through all that. Let's go back to edit. Yes, so it's there. It just didn't refresh. Perfect. So now we've set up our post fields that we actually want. Now we've set up our SEO how we want it, and we can now auto-generate anything that we'd like. And I don't think we need to do anything else for the canonical because that is going to update based on the public site URL, which is perfect. That's what we want to see. And then I believe that is it. So I think I can also do the image path. I cannot. So what else is involved in the preview field? Well, let's see. Is there a preview here? Preview field, I see. Title path. So I guess that's the only thing available in the preview field. Well, we'll see about that. Let's click into it, see what it has. Field function props. Okay, nothing there. UI field. Components, condition. Not quite what I'm looking for. Field function. Oh, here we go. Description path and title path is all that's available. Okay, so that means that I can't include an image in my preview, which is not the end of the world. It would be a nice thing to have, but I can see the image right there. So what does it really matter? Okay, so if we think about our end goals here, we have implemented join field on users. We have a relationship field as well that is based on users that only filters out authors. We removed authors again now that everything is working, and we successfully created a post count number field that allows me to sort based on which author has the most posts attributed to their name. So that is great progress there. And we also just finished working throughout all of our post information here. So the next step, which we won't do tonight, but we will do shortly, maybe later this week, maybe. I'm not sure yet, but we need to, let's actually go over, because you can't see what I'm doing. Where is it in my config? It's not, it's at my home page. That's right. So if I go to home, it's not at the home page. It's at the slug. There we go. So we've built out the blog, but we need to build out the blog on the front end. Before we do that though, and the next thing we're going to do is rich text serializer. So we're going to cover how to get our rich text field into our front end and rendering. Then we will build out the blog because we need, again, if we look at just our home page, there's no content anymore because all of it is gone because of the rich text editor issues that I was having. So just to show you that, once I got everything created, I was no longer able to have this activated because I just get type errors if I go here to index, but maybe it'll work. Who knows? We go to media. Oops, media. So just a bunch of errors you can see. Like all of these elements are different now. That error is fine. But even if I were to refresh this, nothing happens. Oh, well, first, nothing happens because it's all disabled. But again, just to show you how it's working, I can go to hero. Let's get our rich text type back in, our subtext back in. Rich text type, and then put our subtext back in here, and then serialize lexical. And now, oh, it does still work. I just have a ton of type errors, so I don't know if it's actually going to build, but that's really exciting. So what we're going to do first is we will still replace, I think, the rich text serializer because I don't want it to fail on build. But all of these here, I wonder if I can just import JSX and that gets rid of those type errors. That does. Okay. And then I don't know about this width. Because that is not assignable to width height. No, I think I just need to do that gets rid of the error. That's enough for me. I don't actually use this. I just think it's attached to something. So we'll leave it how it is now. But okay, so that was really promising. This was, I'm really surprised that that worked so quickly. So now that all of this is fixed, we can go in and do our serialize lexical, which I commented out on everything. And so using PyCharm, I'm able to use a keyboard shortcut to search for all of these instances. And once I do that, I can just uncomment everything. So this is reactivating. Hopefully I'm not just getting overexcited here because I would really like for this to work. And then we can delete that. This is not for an active page, cart section. Cart header. Oh, there it is, serialized lexical. There should be one more. Nope, that's it. Okay. Perfect. We can add this back in, content, and you can see that I put everything on its own line, so it's easier to uncomment these things for just such a time as this, where I'm re-enabling things. Now I don't have to like, go away Siri. I don't have to try and find everything and how these fields are connected or make a bunch of changes to how they're connected. I'm really going all out on this. I really should be testing this one by one, but if you can't tell, I'm very excited. Text type, content, because this will save tons of time, and honestly it's just a great way to end the stream. There's that. Okay. Let's make sure that that worked, because that looked a little weird there. Yeah, that's good. Okay. Can actually do rich text type there. Get rid of that. Okay. Where is this? Blocks pain points. Ah. We're going to leave that how it is because I don't want to deal with more type errors. I'm just trying to get this done. Okay, okay, okay. All done there. Done, done. Done. Okay. Done. Almost done with all of this. Hero we just did. Bam. Okay. This is the actual rich text field. So that's all good. If I then save, we should start seeing some content come back. At least we can hope. We see some. I must have missed some in the content with media. Rich text type. I can get rid of a button. Content with media. I believe we just missed one. No. It's there. So we've got some good content back in. This is very exciting. One less thing that I need to worry about. So let's figure this out and then let's call it quits. Okay. So maybe we need to go to our local host, do admin, pages, home, oh, content, so we have content with media, so this is test text. Should be content. Here, let's restart the server just in case. You never really know. Let this load up. Let's see if we can refresh this. I hope this isn't hung up again. So let's go do generate types just in case. Just in case again, do import map, which it shouldn't matter. Do npm dev. see if we can load up our front end. While that's going, see if we can load up our that would do it. See, I'm glad I looked at the problems there, because if I hadn't, I wouldn't see that content is missing on our content with media block, which hopefully should let this finish loading up. I don't see any other errors. So let's see if this will spin up. Okay, we're going to leave that how it is. TypeScript, code quality tools. Okay. Reserved. So it keeps saying that our keyword import is reserved. So that's unhelpful and not actually an error. Okay. Okay, so I don't see any errors other than the keyword import is reserved. So I think we're in good shape. I don't know why this isn't quite loading though. Let's see if I can refresh. Let's do a hard refresh. Could be that I'm just overdoing this a little bit. No, I got plenty. Okay, regardless though, this is a good place to stop. We saw everything working, and on the next one we'll see that the content is working as well. Let me just go and do, because we can check off that we did our rich text serializer. So that is good. It's done. We shouldn't have to worry about it anymore. So I will figure out why this isn't loading and get it to work for the next time that we stream. But for now, if you enjoyed this, go ahead and subscribe, like the content, hit the bell for notifications for whenever I go live or for whenever a new video drops. But for now, have a good night. I'll see you on the next one.